Hey, it's Mike Neighbors here on behalf of Funny 820 and 1029 K-Light, talking with Joe Avati, who, you know what, I don't even know what you're from Australia, but you really talk a lot about your Italian heritage and background, and then you come to Canada, and now you're mixing all kinds of stuff together when you get together with an audience in Canada. First of all, welcome to Canada again.
Thank you for having me.
You've actually found a really good audience for your comedy here, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been touring here since 2001, and it's been phenomenal success over those years, and we've developed a love following, and then also, you know, not only for the routines in the show, but you know, a lot of people have got enough faith in me as a producer that I'm producing great shows with other great acts in the shows as well. So
that's kind of cool, because you have explored some different avenues. I know I was reading about, hard to believe a person of Italian descent would be really into food. Yeah. But you're really into food. And you do a food show down in Australia.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, food's very important in the Italian household. That's why we have the two kitchens, right? The one we spend $40,000 on and never use, and the one you eat in the basement, right? Or in Australia, you eat in the garage. We put that whole second kitchen in the garage.
Oh, really?
We leave the car outside, and we
put it in the garage. Is there a reason you don't have a basement, or you?
Well, we don't need it because it's the reason why you have basements here is because of the cold, and you need the foundations need to be deeper, right?
Oh, right.
In Australia, it doesn't get really cold, so you don't need any. But they're a great idea, though.
There's a bit of a difference. I know a lot of people have trouble. They struggle a little bit with the second kitchen concept, but it certainly is something that the Italians have taken with them wherever they go.
That's right.
They love the second kitchen.
And that's the interesting thing. It's almost like when they left Italy and they said, okay, wherever you're going, whether it's be to Canada or America or England or Australia, it was almost like they got given a manual and said, this is what you've got to do when you get there. You've got to concrete the backyard.
Right. They all the same similarities.
Yeah, you know, all that kind of stuff. So,
so you grow up, and we talked to the Italians, sort of left Italy in large numbers, as many European nations they left, and they went to different countries. And so you grow up in Australia. So now you have an Australian, Italian background.
Yeah.
When you come here, is there something that you've picked up on? You kind of go, "Wow, the Italians who came to Canada missed this completely," or this was totally different for them.
Not so much. So it's more to do with the business and their attitude towards the business. There's a lot of Italians in big business here.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you look at the supermarket chains. You know, there's Fortinos, Longos. It's just they're Italian descent, but they're massive, right? I mean, there's a lot of Italians also in politics. And as a result of that, I ended up meeting both of your previous prime ministers, Jean Chrétien and Paul Martin, because of that. And,
nice.
And so, and there's a lot more Italians in the media as well here. And when you come across someone who's in the media and they're an Italian, they actually support you. Whereas in Australia, they're more like, oh, I've just got an Italian name and that's all. That I'm not gonna help you out in any way. You know, so they're very open, and it's a much stronger Italian community here.
Our two countries have a lot of things in common. One of them being massive countries that are not easy to tour because they're the pockets of population. You must find the same thing here, right? I mean, you have to travel a pretty good distance to get to the next
absolutely.
community.
I mean, we've just done Calgary, we've done Edmonton, we've done Vancouver, all in the last 2 weeks. And
a lot of travel.
There's a lot of flying,
When you're developing new material, because I've seen some of the stuff, you've got some great stuff on YouTube. People can check it out. I know the Italian dinner or the Italian wedding speech is one of the favorites that people check out. When you're developing new material, do you think about the multimedia nature of where comedy has gone, where it used to be, you know, the club and the show, and now there's whole other platforms?
Well, it is, and you have to use Twitter, you have to use Facebook, and you have to get out on YouTube because people's their time is limited, so they've got to go. That's where they're going to go and find you, you know, and and it's changed even with our parents and are on Facebook now. My grandfather, he
That's right.
he insisted that he wanted a brand new, one of these brand new iPhones, so we had to get him one. Rings me up 2 days later, goes, "This thing's broken down." I said, "Well, what's wrong with it?" And I had a look, and the whole memory had been used up, right, and the phone had seized, and I'm thinking, what is an Italian grandfather of 87 doing using 8 gigabytes of memory? And he had 347 photos of his ear. Right?
He just kept taking pictures of his ear.
Didn't know how to use
No
it.
idea, eh? That's
So,
beautiful.
And that's another way that it's evolved. And you always constantly have to do that.
Yeah.
So you're not only evolving in a technological sense, but you're also evolving with the way that the world is going and the community is going, because you have to talk about the kids today, because kids today get away with murder. We don't get away. We
So that's the same in Australia as it is here. They're getting away with murder all over, are they?
These kids are, these generation didn't cop the beatings that we did, and to be honest, this is the generation that needs to be beat up the most.
That's going back to that old Italian heritage, right? I mean,
I remember. I'm 38. I'm still not allowed to have an earring. My dad would freak out. I joked to him one day. I said, "Oh, Dad, I'm going to get an earring." He goes, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "Boom." He goes, "Now your earring for a long time." And that's just the way it was. So I discussed that in the show.
Yeah.
As well.
And you know what is really kind of funny is listening to you when you do an Italian accent, or you're doing your parents or relatives, but there's still an Australian accent there too. And so now I'm picking up dual accents, and it's kind of weird because I live in a neighborhood with lots of Italians, so I know what an Italian accent sounds like.
What area is that? Tony Creek?
Yes, Tony Creek.
Oh, right.
Yes, absolutely. Listen, the reason we've got you here is because you're playing Hamilton Place Saturday night.
Yes.
And it's going to be a fabulous night. What are people going to get out of a Joe Avati show? If they don't know, this is the first time they're seeing you on a video here on our website. What are they going to get from a Joe Avati?
The first thing that's different to a lot of other comedy shows is the show's completely clean. So not myself nor the support acts use any profanities at all, right? And so a lot of people because you can bring your parents, your grandparents, and so you get often 3 generations of the family, one family sitting in the same line, laughing at the show, and they're all getting something out of it. So we spent a lot of time designing the show as well. As in the guys who open up for me are very, very good, because sometimes you get acts who put someone who's really mediocre to make them look better. I'm not into that. I'm not into that.
Cool.
They're a great act in themselves.
Yeah.
And then we design the show to make sure that it's very, very punchy and full of laughs.
Yeah.
And then at the end we do something which we've been developing in Australia for a long time now, is we come out and we parody. So like it's a medley of parodies, and we change the words into Italian and Italianisms, and the other guys on the show who are also great singers come out, and we all do that. So it's there's a costume change. So it's not just a stand-up comedy show. It's a show where you can be entertained.
It's going to be a great night.
Yeah.
Saturday
Oh,
night.
and it's very funny.
And
I forgot to tell you.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Saturday night, Hamilton Place.
Yep.
How many more shows before you head back to Australia? Because you're coming into summer down there, man. You don't want to be here for the winter.
No, I don't want to be here in the winter. I'm leaving on the 3rd of December. I am out of here.
You're getting back home and getting into the hot weather again.
So we're working every weekend all the way up until December.
Joe, appreciate you stopping by to talk to us today.
Thank you.
Looking forward to Saturday night at Hamilton Place. It's going to be great.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Joe
Great to
Avati.
see you. Cheers.
Thank you very much.